What's going on, guys? I'm Jhamel Jones, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my story as to why I switched from REI Reply. Now, I may look familiar, I may not. Yes, that is me, that handsome devil in the background of this video. And yes, this is a video with me saying how great REI Reply is. Now, full disclosure, REI Reply, they let you sign up for 49 bucks a month. Well, before I get into all that, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because you're going to be seeing a lot of great stuff coming out of this channel. There's a lot of great stuff already on the channel. And make sure you like the video because it helps the whole algorithm and all of that, and share it with somebody who you think may find it beneficial. So what REI Reply does is they sign you up for 49 bucks and then they tell you, hey, we need a testimonial within 30 days or we're going to charge you $4.97 for the setup fee, or $5.49, one of those. And so I made this video within 30 days of actually using the system. And if you've used the system before, you know sometimes, especially with a system as complex as REI Reply and other systems like REI Reply, it takes a lot more than 30 days to really get a good feel of how the system works, to get a good feel of how the support is, to get a good feel of all of these things, right? So I made the system, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the system. I absolutely loved it when I was using it. REI Reply was the first of its kind. And if you know anything about what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. REI Reply was the first of its kind. And so a lot of people used it. And then at 49 bucks a month, come on, man. If you broke $49 a month, hell yeah, I'm all over that. Right? So a little bit about me. I had used a whole bunch of other systems. Some was charging like 8 cents per text message. Like, it was horrible. I had used a whole bunch of VAs that just sucked up all of my money, and some other things. And I used to drive semis, right? So what I was looking for was a system that could do my marketing for me while I was driving semis, right? So when REI Reply came along, it's like, okay, this does text messages, calls, all that shit. This is what I've been looking for. Because before that, now it's a lot of them, but before that, there were systems that would send text messages, but not emails, send emails, but not text messages, make calls, but not be able to send emails or text messages. And so people was using different systems for different things. And that was messing up people's businesses for the simple fact that you sending somebody a text message during an SMS campaign. And then when you call this person, you call them from a whole different number. So a lot of people, and I experienced that myself, a lot of people was like, yeah, man, that's a little fishy for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pass. And so when the system is called the high level engine that REI Reply is built on, when they provided their all in one thing, like it was amazing, right? But back then, nobody even knew what that was. Now it's like everybody knows what it is. But anyway, so very quickly, I found out that their support absolutely sucked. Their support sucks. And if you use them right now, then I'm pretty sure you can relate to that, even still to this day. And that was like years ago. Their support absolutely sucks. On top of that, so if you could see this name right here, it says business marketing help, right? So what happened was the people who created this system, they were marketers. They weren't real estate investors. They were marketers. And so what they did was they seen a rise in real estate wholesalers, found out about the high level engine, and then decided to make an automated system. I did the air quotes. Then decided to make an automated system for real estate investors, for wholesalers. And so they were the first of their kind to put that out there, an automated wholesaling system. But with the system, it was only automated in name alone, right? So the automations, they got automations now, but back then, like, they didn't have any automations. You had to build all that shit yourself. And still now they give you basic shit, but if you want anything that really works, you got to build it yourself or pay somebody to build it for you. And their support system, they actually refer people to outside people to get support, not even their own support system. So it's kind of, it's a lot, right? But anyway, I required something more than what REI Reply was offering. I kind of outgrew it, right? And so they kind of did me a favor by their support being so shitty. That taught me how to actually dive into the system and learn the system myself. And so through trial and error, trial by fire, so to speak, I actually became an expert at the system. And so what had happened was my system was getting deals for me, getting leads for me while I was on the road. And so finally that the driving thing came to an end, and I found myself talking to more and more people on Facebook because I had more time, and people asking me like, bro, how'd you set up those automations? How do you set up those automations? And people started throwing money at me. And so I'm like, damn, maybe this is the universe trying to tell me, hey, you need to be pursuing this right now. Right. So I dialed back my real estate investing and I dialed up the whole software thing, and I created my own system. So I had a system back before anybody knew, before AI was a thing. I had a system that was basically AI. I created literally thousands and thousands of responses by hand that would respond to people who were inbound messages and doing the automated booking and literally all of that. So all of that stuff that's kind of normal now, like I was doing that before AI was ever even a thing. Right. So, anyway, that's a whole nother story within itself. So what I did was I branched off and I started doing my own thing. I got a lot of hate for it from some people, right? And then it just kind of went haywire from there. But the good thing about my system is that, and I hate to turn this into like an advertisement, but the good thing about my system is that it actually comes from a person who is an actual real estate investor, right? Like I wasn't born into this shit. I ain't make a lot of money and then start buying properties. Like I was driving trucks, cold calling on my lunch break at truck stops, right? Like 14-hour days, getting off, sitting in front of a laptop, still cold calling, getting off work, still sitting in front of a laptop, trying to build out automations, returning text messages, and all that other type of stuff, right? So that was why I needed the automated system that REI Reply wasn't doing for me. And so I created my own. And so now you can imagine that has evolved with the advancement of AI. That has evolved into something that is so much more than I ever even anticipated it to be. Because I remind you again, like I never planned on doing this shit. I never planned on doing software. I was doing real estate. And I just so happened to create a system for my own business that was other people wanted it too. And so here we are. So I can't even tell you what REI Reply has in their system. Now I've been gone from them for so long, but what I can tell you in my system is I have a system where I pull my lists, I throw them into the system, I skip trace them using the system. They're automatically tagged with what they're supposed to be tagged with, and then I just add one tag manually, and the system does everything else for me. It sends out. There's actually a video that I recorded a little bit earlier with me starting a marketing, a lead generation campaign for one of my clients. You can check that out too. But literally just add one tag. That tag drops all contacts into this workflow right here, and then this workflow drops all contacts into this folder. With this folder has, I think, let me try to add it up real quick. I say about 60 different workflows inside of it that basically does everything for you. You don't have to do anything. You just add the entire system you add all of your lists to that one workflow, either manually or with that tag. And then the system does everything else. It will disposition properties for you. It will swap out numbers. If you're familiar with REI Reply, then you know that there's no swap system. So when we skip trace, we'll get about 10 phone numbers, right? And we would have to, well, I had to anyway when I had their system, I had to upload all 10 of those phone numbers as individual contacts. So I found a way around it. I found a way to build a workflow that will actually swap out, and it works so good that I actually expanded on it, and I actually do it for emails now as well. And so what will happen, let's say Jhamel Jones, 123 Main Street, blah, 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 10 phone numbers. Okay, boom. First number person says, fuck off, whatever. All right. Swap that out. It's going to put that in the, it's going to go ahead and do what it's going to do with that one. so that you don't lose that information, and then it's going to pull the next one up and it's going to restart the entire process. And once it runs through that course, it's going to let you know, hey, you ran out of phone numbers. You need to skip trace record again, right? And so it does that, and it goes from there. There's so much more that I can't even say right now because it's on the board, so to speak. But I really want to talk about it, but I can't. But this system is going to be freaking phenomenal, right? It's already phenomenal. But I have so many more plans and so many more updates, and that right there is the difference between someone who does software, creating the software, and someone who does real estate, creating the software. My system, CosMoSys AI, remember the name. My system is a lead generation and appointment booking CRM, automated CRM, made for real estate investors by a real estate investor. My pops did this shit. He was in the newspapers and all of that back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was 15, 16 years old. He was studying under Ron LeGrand. He ended up dying before he got his first lease option assignment deal. So this shit always been in my blood. I did a whole bunch of stupid shit before I actually got to where I was supposed to be in the real estate game, prison, drugs, alcohol, all of that shit. I've done it all. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. So you could take that and take what you know about Chicago and use your imagination to imagine what my life has been like. But once I met my homeboy, Robert Russian. He told me a word that changed my life. He said wholesaling. We was in truck driving school together. The man told me a word that changed my life. He said wholesaling, and then it took off from there, right? And so this system, I said all that to say this system is a system made by somebody that come from the mud, that got shit out the mud just like y'all doing it right now, right? So I know the ins and outs. I know the little intricate shits that need to be taken care of that somebody that don't really do the business wouldn't know, right? So anyway, I've already had y'all for 12 and a half minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short because if you're anything like me, you hate watching long ass videos. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this short now. But remember to subscribe, guys. Like, there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming for you guys, a lot of educational stuff, as well as some advertisements because I am running the business. You're an investor yourself, or you wouldn't be watching this video, so you understand the importance of advertising. But go ahead and subscribe, like, share, all that good shit, and I will see you guys in the next video.